Hi, this will be my first video in more than 3 months, made with various video editors and screen capture programs, because my computer screen had suddenly turned all black. Then had that repaired, lost all my software, and had to buy and install it all new. Which for me, the dummy with computers, my burnout and homeless situation, wasn't easy at all. I'll be turning 60 this year. My hair has turned entirely white and grey. I'm an old geezer with a limp, homeless, and would like to retire and get a rest. So, if the computer holds out in the next few videos, I'll gradually show you the next generation of young producers who carry on the legacy of my ancestors on The Enemy Within, for I'm neither royalist nor Republican. So the first one in row, and you wouldn't believe it, is Swissy here, by the YouTube name of Rotex BMW Drift, because he likes drifting around corners with his block differential on his supercharged BMWs. But it's about the interview I gave, so here you can see it. It is in German. I guess you can put subtitles. And for all the ones who are watching my videos who do speak German, so here's the whole title here. Schon Hross spricht über sein Leben, die Schweiz und was sich seit Jahrhunderten nicht geändert hat. So he made the title. And here, Rotex trifft John Hross. Gibt es vielleicht verborgene Geheimnisse hinter Maßvoll und ihrem Logo? You see that M symbol. I'm going to explain, what it means. It's the controlled opposition. So he used to like, BMWs and drifting with a block differential, until this whole thing started with the Pharaoh's poison here. So he started filming demonstrations, and but here you can see some of his old videos, like taking a corner, like in a 90 degrees, like spinning around the corner, like in a Hollywood mode, and Hollywood mode, sorry. So, okay, a lot of cars, but it's about the interviews in German. Drifting corners with block differentials might be cool, but I see no more, no less than a getaway car in the whole exercise, hanging out the goodies and blasting away. What a sweet dream. I accepted Swissy's visit out of tactical reasons, like a Trojan horse gnawing at the ancient pillars of the Swiss utopia in the Alps, having my own Swiss Trojan horse, or rather horsepower in this case, inside the devil's caves. Of course, the Swissies are the most perfected breed of humans, after Pharaoh's principles and their Templars' criteria concerning their feudal slaves. For over 2,000 years, the best Swissies have always been bred out, merely selecting the Swiss banker mentality, with a counting machine at the place where their hearts should be. But hey, if I, homie Hross, can wake up some young, disillusioned homeboys of Switzerland, then so be it. And let's bring it on, boys. Last month we did 2 interviews in German, and made in the French mountains of the Alsatian territories. So you all see the 1984 on his BMW, a block differential. So Switzerland is the the 1984, the utopia of Pharaoh in the Alps. So, all you German speakers, I wish you great fun with the interviews. As it seems to be, the Alpine hillbillies watched the first interview more than the other, apparently due to the fact that I explain the occult logo of the controlled opposition concerning Pharaoh's bug war, who have definitely been sent by the two biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world, who both come out of Pharaoh's base in the Alps, Roche and Novartis. So I explain in the video that this is not a normal M. It's first of all, it's the M for Mason. And these are like the two pillars, Yashin and Boaz. And here it forms a square, as in the square and compass. And the compass is of course in the circle, because with a circle, with the compass, you can make a circle. And it has 2 times the Templar V in it here. So it's completely Masonic and Pharaonic. So you see my hair turned in grey. I'm, you know, the old geezer. And I hope the new talents here, they're gonna continue the work. And so he even got it here, 1984, here in his channel. Here you can see his channel. So go give him a hand. And so here again you can see is the name of his channel, Rotex BMW Drift. Here's the title, as I pronounce it in German. Rotex trifft Sean Ross. Gibt es vielleicht verborgene Geheimnisse hinter Maßvoll und ihrem Logo? And so here you can read it here in German, but the best would be you go and visit his channel. If I don't forget, I'll put the link in the description. Yeah, so you German speakers, go team up and wake up the hillbillies in the Alps. There are like 1 or 2, you know, that who are okay, you know, amongst. Well, you know what I mean. 33% of Roche belonged to Novartis. So they're in fact one and the same company, most certainly into illegal cartel agreements amongst each other. So, due to the enormous amount of money Roche made themselves with their PCR machines and the conflict of interest, Roche could just lay down $20 billion after the very good business of infecting the world with Pharaoh's Wu flu. So well documented by Wolf Clan Media and Chris's video. Here you see Wolf Clan Media and Chris. This is the video you should definitely watch. You can find it on Brighteon and I think Rumble, and also on the Wolf Clan Media site. This here is an interview. In the comments, even me as I'm in it, and so here, there he is. And so go follow Chris. He's also one of the new young talents who you should definitely follow. Go watch this video, So this is the follow-up, what I'm telling you, you know, that 33% of Roche, it belonged to Novartis, 20 billion, can you imagine? And after the Wu flu, they just laid down 20 billion and bought it back, you know. So do you need any more proofs, So here's Chris's channel, Wolf Clan Media, on YouTube. Of course, because of the censorship, he couldn't put the other video you just saw. He couldn't put it on in YouTube because they would have taken it off immediately. Here, there's a here you can see the whole title: Swiss banksters call police and assault journalist Hross. Who's Hross? I heard that name before. Who's that? Oh, so go and watch this video, and there's a lot of more interesting things, so go check out this guy. He's going to be big, and I'm going to retire, so I hope all these young guys, they'll continue the work.
Don't touch me!
Some more.
Swiss banksters assaulting
and so go check it out yourself. By the way, the Swiss Parliament in Bern, it also looks like this with a tower on it like this. So after the 2008 financial crisis, the Swiss banks were grounded from further Swiss banking frauds through heavy international control. So Swissy had to come up with something new. In December 2019, starting Friday the 13th. Charles here is another young talent and fan of my videos who will take over when I'm gone. So here you can see Charles, and this is one of his channels here, Jesterman. Go and leave some comments. He's a cameraman for Rebel News Canada, and he has several channels. Here on his channel Pharaoh Tales and Tells, he recognized the origins of Q, which is a brilliant find of his, to which I can fully agree. Here, this is the Order of the Garter. And the garter itself, it makes a Q. Wow, fantastic. Well done, Charles. So, this is the name of his video here. What is Q, or who is Q? And it's on Charles, his channel here. Pharaoh Tales and Tells. I even left a comment there. He talks about hopium. They use hope as a drug, you know, to lure us into doing nothing. Hopium. Fantastic. So here in my channel Giureh, same channel, and here is the title: Behold the pale horse unicorn of the Order of the Garter for the union of the old world order with the new world order. Channel Giureh. So after he saw my video here explaining the Order of the Garter, Charles recognized the letter Q in the crest of the Order of the Garter. You see, this is a Q. There you go. So Charles has the ability to see beyond the veil. The enemy has drawn over everything, as the first weapon against us is the lie and the concealment. Concealment, just as John F. Kennedy stated in his famous speech, for which they killed him. I read it for you. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means, concealment, you see, for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice. You know, like the Swiss police, you know, like putting 3 guns in my head, intimidation, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. clean Switzerland, that it all happens in the night, during the day it's all clean and neutral and all that. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, the WEF, the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, Knights Templars, the first multinationals in history who invented the banks. You see, economic, scientific and political operation. Their first weapon against us is the lie and the concealment. Just as Q. Thank you, Charles. Charles also has the channel Jesterman, where he goes hunting for occult symbols in Canada. Like in this video here, pharaohs in Ottawa. Go check it out and leave a comment. So of course we see the octagon 3 times, for the concept of 3, which is them. And so there's the video, Pharaohs in Ottawa, Jesterman channel. And okay, go leave a comment and subscribe. So here it is. Behold the pale horse unicorn of the Order of the Garter, for the union of the old world order with the new world order. And as I've explained you in my video here on the Order of the Garter, that the order has been founded by the Knights Templars in order to keep the peace between the 2 nobility sections, the Royalists and the Republicans. And as I've explained in this video here on my channel Homeland Security, entitled Pharaoh Trump Genealogy Blood Ties to Hillary, Global King Aristocracy Masters over US Slaves, that Trump is a genuine aristocrat from his mother's side, and even related to the royal houses of Denmark and Norway, thus representing the royalists by his ancestry. But as Trump was also the president of a very important republic, he had to find a way to give concealed messages to the 2 groups within the aristocracy to keep them in peace with each other. Thus, using the traditional tool for this goal, the Order of the Garter, but in a concealed 21st century way, so all the initiated would understand it. Q. As the letter Q resembles the garter of the Order's logo and crest, and a snake they are indeed. This is the garter. Where we go one, we go all. As already explained to you, this is from the Knights Templars who made the Republic, and it stands for all for one and one for all, as it stands on their first and most important base in the Alps, in Swaziland, where it says on the ceiling of their parliament, Unus pro omnibus, omnes pro uno, which means where we go one, we go all. This means that serious frictions within the nobility between the Royalists and the Republicans are augmenting again, which is, of course, the basic reason behind the reasons I've already told you for the Ukraine war, which you can see here in these 2 videos and the 3rd one. Because all wars we had have always been about internal frictions of power, within the nobility, for which the dumb slaves have to bleed for. So this here is the basic of all the reasons behind the reasons of the war. The strife between the horizontal rule of our masters and the vertical rule. The internal strife between the Republicans and the Royalists. And this is why that Trump now says that under his presidency, the Ukraine war would have never happened because of Q, which you can see here, the order of the Garter for peace and order within Pharaoh's community of our masters. None of our masters' systems will provide freedom for humanity. The Royalists will honor valors, honor the creation, and rule obviously and in the open, in a typical vertical feudal rule, whereas the Templar Republicans of the horizontal rule are totally satanic and rule in concealed ways. But in both systems, we will always be their slaves. It needs a new system, and I'm neither royalist nor Republican. And if my computer holds out, I might present you all how the new system should look like. And remember that the Antichrist with an E for anterior coming before is the good guy and not the one afterwards from the royal house of David, of our pharaonic masters, who will always kill the good guy to replace him with one of theirs, so they can have everlasting peace for themselves, while humanity will be locked away under a very peaceful, total control system forever. Here it says, the Federal Presidency of Switzerland in the colors of the Knights Templars. One for all for one. This is what the Knights Templars said. Unus pro omnibus, omnes pro uno, which says on the ceiling of the Swiss Parliament. One of a kind. Switzerland doesn't have just one head of state, but 7. And you can see there are 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're the concept of 4 and the concept of 3. There you go. It's always the same. The government known as the Federal Council is made up of 7 members elected by Parliament. They have 7 heads of state. So Switzerland is the end times beast with 7 heads of state and 10 ministries, with all nations traded through its Swiss Nazi Templar banks. And out of this evil place, there actually is a man today who has actually given a number for his child's name. And this descendant from the base of all evil has announced an idea so incredibly evil that it can only have come out of the beast with the 7 heads of states in the Alps, which in fact it does so. This man out of the Swiss Haldeman nobility with the Isis horns in his coat of arms has officially announced that before the end of 2022 he will connect a human brain to a computer. in order to give us a chip in the forehead and one in the hand. They say he's the richest man on the planet, worth $200 billion. He has many wives, with whom he had 10 children with. The 11 died. One got born out of a surrogate mother, artificially inseminated. And number 12 got the number 12 in his name in Roman ciphers. I guess with so many kids, you just stop giving them names and just give them a number. So here's the name. Remember this well, because you can already, this is officially, you can see here, already here, there are two different writings. Here's with an A, Haldeman, and here's with an I. And sometimes it's only with one N, sometimes it has a D behind, but it's all the same. And the origins are Swiss German from the Emmental. Here you can see the Isis horns, with Isis, the goddess, the pharaonic goddess, head on her head with the sun in the middle. Exactly the same, because these people are all pharaohs. And look at the magic wand here. You know, like connects a person, his brain, to a computer, you know, with a magic wand. And here you see the concept of three red lines, and the concept of 4 for the white lines in the Templars colors, red and white. You know, these people, they do miracles with the magic wand. You know, it's the right hand of Freemasonry. You know, the hidden hand is the right hand, because with the right hand you kill someone, or you write something down, an order or something. So this is their official coat of arms. And also here's the concept of 3. You know, they got four. They got 4 colors here. And so remember this name very, very well. In Swiss German, you pronounce this Haldeman. Hauen, it means to hit or to strike. Haldeman. You know, Nazi Templars, the Swiss mercenaries. But let's say Haldeman. Remember that very, very well, because it's coming back in this video. This is number 12's name, which looks kind of out of a science fiction sci-fi movie with aliens and artificial insemination by the guys in the spaceship. The official name is XAEA-12. A child for a purpose, instead of a child you love, indicated so by the choice of name that looks more like the code for a product or some military upgrade. At the end of the name you see the X11 for 12 in Roman ciphers, and the AE combination of the second icon exists in German and in Swiss German for the A umlaut, pronounced E. The name of this extremely dangerous Swissy is, of course, Elon Musk. And don't have yourselves fooled by his 3 accumulated nationalities: South African, American, and Canadian, of which he's none of them. He's, in fact, of the very powerful Swiss nobility bloodline of Haldeman from the Swiss Emmental region, in which I actually lived like 10 kilometers away, about which I even heard the Swiss say that it is the most dreadful Swiss region. And oh boy, did they make me feel this. The Emmental region, where the Haldeman nobility of Elon Musk's bloodline are from, was also the worst region for the Swiss slave children, also called contract children nowadays. And the Swiss slave children era lasted until 1989. You see, Nubians, Indians, jaywalkers, and the rest, that Pharaoh's nobility also kept white slaves until 1989, long time after the abolishment of slavery in the US. Many years ago I made this video here on my channel G.I.U.R.E.H about, here's the title, Switzerland own African slave trade slavery ships of Swiss Navy. How the Swiss are into the international slave trade in the Americas, on my channel G.I.U.R.E.H here. So there are a lot of names now known. So to get rid of the bar here, I'll just turn it on here. So you can see a lot of names here, like here Schlumpf. They even have a one of the 7 heads of states, I think actually now, Witma Schlumpf, a woman. Well, her family was also in the slave trade. And the Swissies, they even had vessels, slave vessels, by the name of Helvetics, like CH, Confederatia Helvetics. All with Swiss names, Pays de Vaud, City of Lausanne, the names of the slave trader vessels. There are many names here, you know, like here, down here. You have the names here, Zollikofer, Kunkler, Riedi, Gonzenbach, Depury, Favre, Rossel, Labhart, Zellweger. Ah, Renée Zellweger, yeah, she's Swiss. You know, the famous American actor. Well, her family was in the American slave trade. That's why they stayed in America, eh? And her head also looks very much like the mother of Elon Musk, the same sort of the head form, the skull form. Got the name Vetter, Rieter, Escher. Escher, a famous painter, I think, or Louis-Henri Fourgeau, a colonel. Here, Colonel Louis-Henri Fourgeau from Geneva assisted in suppressing a slave uprising in Berbice, Guyana, and uprisings in the Suriname. Captain Wip from Schaffhausen was commander of a Swiss battalion instrumental in the attempt to re-establish slavery in Haiti. Isaac Melville, citizen of Basel, at the service of the Swedish African Company, founded a slave castle off the coast of modern Ghana. Well, I mean, they're all Swiss, you know. It's Dunant and Faccio own various plantations. You know, Henri Dunant, the guy who founded the Red Cross. Well, the Red Cross is just is nothing more than a spy organization. So it's all Swiss, and it's all because of the Nazi Templars. I'm very, very sure that if you dig a little bit deeper in it, in the Swiss involvement in slavery and the transatlantic slave trade, if you dig a bit deeper into it, well, you find the family name of Haldeman, and you know, of course they're in it. I mean, he was having friends like Henri Bouquet, and who genocided the Indians with through biological warfare. You know, This is not a clean, neutral country about which you never hear anything, people. They are not. They're very dangerous, which you can see now happening with, sticking electrodes in your brain. Or you can stick it somewhere else, eh? Here you can see the Haldeman text collector in some historic writings. So this is the mayor's office here of Eggyville. Eggy, it's like Swiss German, like in Arnold Schwarzenegger. And Egger, it means to work the land, to turn the land like upside down, like. And here it says Emmental. So this is the region where they had many children slaves, where it was most of them, they were in this region, where I lived as well, and had a horrible time. And this is where the ancestors, nobility of Elon Musk's, where they come from. And here it says the tax collector Haldeman, he had problems, he was angry on the French because Napoleon, he invaded Switzerland. So of course, the old nobility, they were the vertical rule, and Napoleon, the horizontal rule, the republic after the revolution. He was destroying the vertical rule of the nobility all over Europe, even going to Russia, Moscow, and Germany. And so this is why the local nobility, Haldeman, they were angry. He says, "Es ist toll und rasend." He was really angry. That the French, they were like disturbing the good business of tax collecting by the nobility in Switzerland. And this is where Elon Musk's mother comes from, as she writes herself in her own biography, that her Swiss Haldeman bloodline left Switzerland for Philadelphia in the year 1727, and then crossed the border to Canada, right next to Philadelphia, of course. So here you can see his picture. There he is, Swissy. Look, and here it says, Elon Musk's maternal side of the family can be traced back to the villages in the Emmental region of Switzerland. Okay, I'll read it for you here. Tesla's CEO Elon Musk had roots in a small picturesque farming region in central Switzerland. Using genealogy websites and local archives, historians have been able to connect Musk with the Haldeman name, which is still present in the Emmental region today. And remember the ISIS horns, and that I've shown you just before, that it's the nobility. So it says, May Musk, Elon Musk's mother, was born May Haldeman on April 19, 1948 in Canada. In her autobiography, she says that her father's family emigrated from Switzerland to Philadelphia as early as 1727. May Musk, double M, MM, and others who have written about Musk's family have never been able to identify exactly which village in Switzerland the family comes from. Well, I can promise you that they know it. They know this perfectly well. They just don't want to announce to the whole world that their origins are from a Swiss castle in the Emmental region by the Haldeman nobility. So I'll read furthermore for you. Using genealogy websites, the Sonntagszeitung was able to trace the family history back to 1544. At that time, Bartholomeus Haldeman was born in the town of Zignau in Emmental. This is 11 generations before Elon Musk's great-grandfather, John Elon Musk, was born. So it means the Musk line of his family has no meaning at all, as I've told you. Bartholomew's son Andreas Haldeman was born in 1572 and his grandson Peter Haldeman on August 19th, 1593. Local archives based on church records validate this. Based on the journalist's research, the Haldeman family emigrated to the US in 1719. And there they renamed themselves Haldeman. The I became an E, because in German you say Haldeman, like an E here, Haldeman, and here in English Haldeman, Haldeman. It's the same. They even added a D, which I'm going to show you later on. They renamed themselves just like, Hoover, who his real name was Hoover, J. Edgar Hoover, and President Herbert Hoover. They were Swiss Hoovers. You got another one. There they renamed themselves Haldeman and settled in Pennsylvania. It's clear that Elon Musk has roots in Signal and Eggyville. I just showed you Eggyville, remember? The tax collector Haldeman. Because the Haldemans have lived in this area since time immemorial. Another origin is impossible. Do you hear this? It's impossible, another origin, because outside of the Emmental region, this surname never appeared at that time, said the local historian. Well, you can see his name here. So here you can see a genuine picture of Elon Musk's mother, May Musk Haldeman, of the Swiss Haldeman nobility of the Emmental, where they kept slave children until 1989. So she is a world-famous model, obsessed with eternal life, staying young forever, and certainly taking the embryonal youth elixir from the Swiss Prairie Clinic, about which I've already talked to you about. Not difficult to see where her son got all his eternal life ideas from, having an obsessed mother with the very same idea, which happens to be the obsession of the entire pharaonic elite ruling over us, who basically are a bunch of vampires sucking up human stem cells. And believe it or not, this too is a genuine picture of Elon Musk's mother of the Haldeman bloodline. And you see, I told you the color red, a red ring here. She knows exactly what she's doing. The red dress, and here's white, for the colors of the Knights Templars. But anyway, the red ring definitely indicates, the old world order, the vertical rule, the Bertasser, the red house of Pharaoh. She knows exactly what she's doing, and I know where she is from. Therefore, Elon Musk is having the graphics of a life machine in his Neuralink logo, which you can see here. This is his Neuralink logo. This is the graphics of a life machine, in a hospital. And Neuralink is the company that wants to connect us to a computer before the turn of the year, and seeing the horizontal line in his logo of the life machine standing for clinical death of the life machine. They probably want to kill us. Then take your soul and keep your soulless body forever connected to a computer for the organ harvesting for the elite's eternity program nightmare. So here you see the life machine, and this is going to be you or your child. And this is the logo of Neuralink. This is exactly this. Now, why did the dude take the graphics of a life machine for the logo? You ask yourself this very serious question. So this is again the graphics of the life machine and the Neuralink logo, and this is on Wikipedia. So you can read it all if you like. Look here. In April 2021, that was only last year, Neuralink demonstrated a monkey playing the game Pong. Well, you're probably going to be the other monkey, so you can play ping with Pong, yeah? Using the Neuralink implants. While similar technology has existed since 2002, when a research group first demonstrated a monkey moving a computer cursor with neural signals. Scientists acknowledged the engineering process in making the implant wireless and increasing the number of implanted electrodes. Well, marvelous, isn't it? Only you just don't want to be that one being used, eh? Yeah, look, this is about the animal testing. In February 2022, Neuralink said that monkeys died during testing, but they also said no animal abuse occurred. Oh, they died, but no abuse, yeah, okay. They just died horribly, you know, with some electrodes sticking out of their brains, you know. So Neuralink tests their devices by surgically implanting them in the brains of live monkeys. No, they didn't. No abuse, eh? Pigs and other animals. Neuralink's methods have been criticized by groups just as PETA. Well, the government has put PETA, of course, on the terrorist list, eh? Because, you know, if you criticize our masters, and our masters, as we already know, they see us as monkeys, pigs, and other stuff like that. So, well, you can read it yourself, eh? I mean, marvelous people, aren't they now, eh? Hey, Swissy. Marvelous Haldeman. Animal torturers. Alert. Alert, alert, alert. So, Elon Musk's mother is May Haldeman from Canada. Therefore, in Quebec, Canada, there is the Haldeman or Haldeman Castle by Sir Frederick Haldeman, another Indian killer, together with his personal friend, Colonel Henri Bouquet, who did a genocide on American Indians through biological warfare, about which I already made videos. So here you can see it about the Chateau Haldeman or Haldeman. The Chateau Haldeman was a castle that stood where the Chateau Frontenac now stands in Quebec City, Quebec, Canada. The building was constructed between 1784 and 1786. In 1784, the then governor of Quebec, Frederick Haldeman, ordered construction of the chateau. It became the seat of the colonial government of the province of Quebec from 1786 to 1791. So Swissy became the governor of Quebec. There you can see him, that's Swissy here. And in 1860, the Canadian government established administrative offices and the headquarters of the Legislative Assembly of Canada in this castle until 1866. The castle was later used as part of Laval University until 1892, when it was demolished to make way for the construction of the Chateau Frontenac. Oh wow, that's impressive, eh? So, okay, well, we've seen that picture here. And there's this one here. And apparently now it looks like this here. Well, that is a castle, eh? Only Pharaoh can be there. And it's on the Place d'Armes. It means the square of the weapons square, eh, Swissy? Sir Haldeman was born in Yverdon, Swaziland, before going to England as a Swiss Nazi Templar mercenary. He became the governor, or rather governator, of Quebec in Canada from 1778 until 1786, terrorizing the Canadian population. So if you're Canadian, I'd urge you to read the whole Wikipedia of this horrific Swiss criminal, of Elon Musk's very powerful Swiss bloodline. And maybe somebody can go to Quebec, some Canadian, and film the Chateau Haldeman, or at the Place d'Armes, where now is the other castle. So please, somebody do that for me. See what you can find. So this is very interesting, you know, and this is a very important person. So you were all thinking that, you know, England was ruling over Canada, eh? Well, you're wrong. You know, because of the order of the Guard to the Knights Templars, they took over. It became a constitutional monarchy, England did. So, and this is, you know, the consequences of it all. So I read it for you. Sir Frederick Haldeman, you know, a ancestor of Elon Musk and his mother, May Musk. He was born in maybe 1718 or in 1791. So in the times of the French Revolution, that was in 1789. He was a military officer best known for his service in the British Army in North America during the 7 Years' War and the American Revolutionary War. So he was killing Americans, you know, who were fighting for their freedom. So from 1778 to 1786, he served as governor of the province of Quebec, and during which time he oversaw military operations against the northern frontiers in the war and engaged in ultimate fruitless negotiations to establish the independent Vermont Republic as a new British province. His administration of Quebec was at times harsh, with the detention of numerous political dissidents and agitators. You know, Swissy here was terrorizing the Canadians. Your ancestors, Canadians. So why didn't you know this, eh? Haldeman was born in Yverdon, Switzerland. This is what Yverdon looks like. Oh, isn't it nice? And he was baptized François Louis Frédéric Haldeman. He was the son of a civil servant, well, of course, you know. He became interested in the military at an early age, and the poor prospects for advancement in Switzerland led him to join foreign armies, you know, the notorious Swiss mercenaries, of course under Knight Templar command since 1291. His first service appears to have been in the army of Prussia during the War of the Austrian Succession, with whom he fought at Mollwitz and probably at Hohenfriedberg and Kesselsdorf. He next joined the Swiss Guards of the Dutch Republic. This is what I told you. There were, how many? 150,000 Swiss mercenaries after the 30-year War, which ended in 1648. So they didn't have anything more to do. They killed 20 million people in Germany. So they all went to serve the Dutch king of this horrendous House of Orange, you know. So there was that happened just before he got born, maybe 100 years before. So you can easily say now that the Dutch police are beating up Dutch farmers, you know, and people who don't want to be locked down. They are Swiss, you know. That's why they can easily knock down and terrorize the Dutch population, because they're not, and they know it. You know, you have to know history in Switzerland, otherwise you won't understand the bloody thing, eh? So where he rose to the rank of lieutenant colonel in the Dutch, so Swissy here became a lieutenant colonel in the Dutch army, the Swiss Guards. This is what they look like, the Swiss Guards, eh? And there, so in the Netherlands, over there, he formed a friendship with Henri Bouquet. You remember that guy? Another Swiss military man with whom he would serve in North America. I made a video about it. Henri Bouquet, also, it says here, was a Swiss mercenary. There was a guy who did the genocide on the North American Indians, using biological warfare and poisoning them with infected blankets with, I forgot the disease, the measles or whatever, something like that. And they all died, you know. They didn't even have to kill him or fight them, you know. It's so Swiss, it's clean, you know, just like how they tortured me in prison when I was a political prisoner for 5.5 years in Switzerland, you know. Torturing me by oxygen deprivation. It's clean. It's just as clean as infected blankets for the Native Americans. Eh? And of course, we had General Custer, who was also Swiss. I also made a video about this on my channel, Gatzefratz. They're all Swiss. And this is because of the Nazi Templars. So, well, you have to read it all yourself. I can't just read it here. And so Canadians do read this. This guy was ruling over Canada, you know, very important person, very important. And he was Swiss, Sir Haldeman. And this is the bloodline of Elon Musk's mother, May Haldeman. Okay, well, anyway, he terrorized the Canadians, eh? And they now they terrorize the whole world. Try to put some cables into your brain, eh? Completely ruthless, then and now. The name Haldeman or Haldeman has several writings which change over the centuries, you know. So sometimes written with an E in the middle, or an I in the middle, or a D at the end. But as genealogists have put it, all Haldemans, whatever their writings, are finally all from the Swiss Emmental, and they are part of the Swiss nobility of Pharaoh. Therefore, the Isis horns here. I'll show it to you. The Isis horns. This is all Pharaoh. They rule in Canada, in Quebec, in England, in America, all over the world. Hey? So here you can see the two goddesses, Isis, with the Isis horns, just like in the coat of arms, the crest of the Haldeman family and ancestors of Swiss nobility, ancestors of Elon Musk. And this is Ma'at with the wings, the goddess Ma'at, you know, the one of the 10 commandments, or actually the 42 principalities, where the 10 commandments are included in. So, and here, in my last video, a fan of my videos, he left a very good comment talking about the anchor I filmed on a lorry. Remember, lorry was passing by, and I was like breaking down the symbols. And it had the ankh symbol and also like an anchor. And so he said, I never thought about this, that so all the honor to him. You can find him in the comments, and give him a hand, give him it's even in the word anchor, ankh. It's in the word anchor, like anchored in the law, for instance, you know. This is, you know, an official, you know, the law, you know, this is, and it really showed an anchor, the ankh symbol in the anchor, you know, where it was going like round at the bottom here, like. And this is where you rope the anchor. You tie it here in the hole here, and in the logo of the lorry, it was round like here, like an anchor, but it was definitely also the ankh symbol in it, and it's in the word ankh, anchor, anchored in the law. So here are these people are the law. You know, they don't care about the law themselves, but for us, I mean, we have to abide by the law. So these are the Isis horns with the sun disk in the middle, and also to be found on the crest of the Haldemans. Very powerful line, eh? Very powerful bloodline. Sir Frederick Haldeman, the Swiss governor of Quebec, also had a son who built the Haldeman Tower in Lausanne, which you can see here. So here you can see what the Haldeman Tower in Switzerland, what it looks like today. There it is. Looks a bit like the Newport Tower by the Knights Templars in America, doesn't it? And same writing, same spelling here as in Quebec. Well, it's the same family. And so here's the guy who had it made, William Haldeman. There he is. He was even a British banker. So, but he lived in Switzerland, right? And so this is in Lausanne. And the Haldeman Tower. So we got the Haldeman Tower, the Haldeman Castle, and so forth, and so on. So there he is, the guy who had the Haldeman Tower built in Lausanne. So William Haldeman, he was born, he lived from 1784 to 1862, was an English philanthropist. Yeah, of course, all the Freemasons are, aren't they now? The director of the Bank of England. This was the director of the Bank of England. Now look, have a good look. Swissy here was the director of the Bank of England. This is what I told you, people. All the banks in the world are Nazi Templar banks, even the Bank of England. That's why they have a Swiss director of the Bank of England. Like all nations traded with her, remember. They all traded with the Nazi Templar banks. He looks a bit like, same features as the mother of Elon Musk. You know, the chin, the nose. Aristocrats, they have long noses. Looks very much like her. Well, anyway, it's the same family, you know. So this is very important. The director of the Bank of England, Swissy here. All the banks in the world are all Swiss banks. He was a member of Parliament, Swissy. British Parliament. House of Commons. You know, where you can see the symbol of the Order of the Garter here, in it. Here's the Garter, you know, the belt here, the Q. This is Q. With on this side the Knights Templars and this side the monarchy. This side the Republicans against the monarchists. So in fact he was not the, I made a mistake, he was not the son of Sir Frederick Haldeman, the other Swissy, but it's the same family. He was a nephew and the heir of Sir Frederick Haldeman. You know. So Haldeman settled permanently at his summer villa in Denantoux, near Lausanne, in Switzerland. Yeah. So they're all Swissies, you know, they're everywhere. And he was in international politics and all that, and everywhere. The Kingdom of Piedmont, Sardinia, everywhere in politics. Remember the Shards, Sardinia, probably the reason. Oh, you know, what they do everywhere in international politics. These Swissies, they're just defending their interests, you know, their own interests. So Haldeman family, very, very powerful, and they're all over the world. Canada, England, they're everywhere. The Swiss Haldeman family, as you can see here, Ernst Haldeman, they are absolutely into internationally slaughtering and terrorizing civilians, like the Swiss SS Ernst Haldeman, a Swiss Nazi war criminal who executed defenseless civilians during World War II, and apparently also American Rangers who surrendered, prisoners of war. Apparently he was a Colonel Standartenführer in the SS who gave himself out for a simple corporal Unterscharführer when he was caught. Yes, the Haldeman Swiss killers all over the world. So here you can, I'll read it for you. Ernst Haldeman, facts. On September 5, 1944, a unit of Belgian Maquis, which is the resistance, attacked a German unit, killing 3 soldiers. 2 days later, the American troops arrived in the area and the Germans retreated. On December 22, 1944, during the Ardennes offensive, the Battle of the Bulge, the village of Bond was retaken by the Germans. On Christmas Eve, a unit of the German SD Sicherheitsdienst set about arresting all men in the village. These were questions about the events relating to the September 5 attack, and then lined up in front of the local cafe. One by one, they were led to an open door, and the SD Sicherheitsdienst man positioned just inside the door fired at point blank into each of the victim's neck. All of the 34 men aged 17 to 32 were killed in this way. Only one managed to flee. This was Léon Prel, who decided to make a run for it and escaped into the woods. He later was able to give testimony regarding the events. So on January 10th, 1945, the village of Bond was liberated by British troops and the massacre was discovered. One man, a German-speaking Swiss national by the name of Ernst Haldeman, which is a Swiss name only from the Emmental region, was identified as being a member of the execution squad. He had joined the SS in France in November 1942. And in 1944, his unit was integrated with other SD units into number 8 SS Commando for Special Duties. Well, these are the notorious SS Einsatzgruppen who did the genocide on the jaywalkers using like bullets, killing 400,000 people. And at the head of them, there was another Swiss, and he was also a colonel, Standartenführer, and his name was Karl Jäger. Haldeman was arrested in Switzerland after the war. Yeah, sure he was. Come on. Get out of here. He never did a day in prison. So here you see the work of the Swiss Haldeman family. Here, a lot of dead people in 1945. It looks like a kid, 17 years old. And I didn't read the whole thing here, but it's in French. I can read French, that's no problem. So you can read it yourself here. Just punch pause. Here you can read the name Haldeman. It says, pas plus que l'Untersturmführer Krüger qui avec le président donna l'ordre à Haldeman d'exécuter des otages de bombe. There's probably more about the Haldeman, but you can read it yourself. There are the dead people here and here as well. Hey, Swissy. You never do it in Switzerland, do you now, eh? You always do it abroad. And they also executed American Rangers. So, Haldeman family, killing people all over. Yeah, some more here. So, young girl, I think. Oh, the whole family got wasted here. Here you can see that, the whole family. Yeah, this is what left of them. Hey, Swissy, why do you do this, eh? Why do you do this, Swissy? Coming after you, Swissy. So probably the Swissy is somewhere, having a number here somewhere, one of these here. Swissy Nazi war criminal. They just love that, killing people, terrorizing people, sticking electrodes in your brain or whatever. Haldeman family. Dig some more in it, eh? Nobody ever heard about this. I presume that the Musk bloodline from Elon Musk's father's side are merely nest providers for the Swiss Haldeman bloodline. So the queen of the Swiss Sisters of Isis could lay her eggs in a relatively comfortable nest and then ditched the nest provider afterwards as he became useless to her personal progress, elbowing her way towards the top for herself and her hatched eggs. Hey, Swissy. Here you get to see some more of the pharaonic idea. The two bee queens, one here and one here, and with the life sign, the Ankh, in the middle. So, and Egypt was in fact a matriarchal society. So the bee queens, like giving life here, just to lay their eggs. In the Bernese Swiss-German dialect, where the Emmental lays in, the name Haldeman gets pronounced Houdeman, meaning, or Houdeman, meaning how den man, in English, strike that man, which is definitely a reference to the Swiss Nazi Templars and their notorious Swiss mercenaries like Sir Frederick Haldimand, the governor of Quebec, and the rest of those Swiss genociders on Native Americans, on slaves, on jaywalkers, and the rest. This here is a genuine Templar's cross in the right color, red on white. And that's why this dude here has been forced to wear a Templar's cross on his chest and controlled by a Swiss Nazi Templar army since 1506. Just another puppet, like all the constitutional monarchies, like the British Queen, that are no real monarchies since they obey the Templars' Republican Constitution, as in a constitutional monarchy, through the Order of the Garter. Jesuits and Catholics are monarchists, while Templars are Republicans who founded Protestantism. The Church has been taken over for a very long time now, and seeing a Jesuit Pope forced to wear the red cross of his enemy on his pontifical robe means nothing more than that Jesuits have no power whatsoever anymore. The Jesuits just have a high standard of education for the aristocratic royalist elite with excellent schools and universities. Nothing more than that, folks, really. When Donald Trump attends a Jesuit university for the elite, that doesn't mean he's a Jesuit. It just means he's an aristocrat, which he is, in fact, and related by blood to the royal houses of Norway and Denmark, which you can see in one of my videos. And remember that Ignatius de Loyola, one of the Jesuits' founders, was a Basque aristocrat with a castle and all. So, this picture here by some American religious freaks is entirely wrong. Trump is not a Jesuit. These people who rule us do not even believe in religion, except for using religion as a tool and weapon against the slaves in order to break the warrior's mindset and to prevent the slaves from taking things into their own hands. Again, you might say. The Vatican belongs to Switzerland. They're Nazi Templars and their Swiss Guard and Sisters of Isis. The first name of May Haldeman, or May Musk, of Elon Musk's ethnic Swiss mother, is yet another reference to the very powerful Swiss nobility of the House of von May. Here you can see it, May, it says in German, is ein Berner Patrizienfamilie. It's Swiss nobility. Here they got the coat of arms here of course, with lions, a symbol of the aristocracy, concept of, oh, funny, 2 times concept of 3, which is them, of course. Blue for the war. There's probably golden. And this is in Schaffhausen. It's called Ritterhaus. And here again, my. It says my. So, Haus zum Ritter. Here it says, there was that thing there in, yeah, I probably saw that once. And very powerful family. And they're everywhere, you see. They are in, like in Augsburg, they're in Prague. Here are some of their castles here in Switzerland. Schloss Brestenberg. This was Schloss Ruhed, Schloss Toffen, Schloss Urseln, Schloss Schöftland, Rebgut Beltruche, some of their castles. So, and these people, so it says here they're from Bern nobility, and these are called the Bernburger, meaning the Bernese castle dwellers, from the German word Burg for castle, and not to be mistaken with the word Bernburger with an umlaut on the U, meaning the citizens of Bern. Funny how 2 mere dots on the U make out the difference in between the masters and their slaves. The Bernburger are the masters and the Bernburger their slaves. Funny indeed, and worth to ponder about. So here it says Bernburger, they are like very secretive group of people in Bern, which is the capital of Switzerland, and who have a lot of power. So this is the U I was talking about. If the 2 dots are on the U, it's called umlaut, then it means the citizens of the town of Bern. And like here, it's from Burg, which means a castle. It says the castle dwellers of Bern. Another thing homie Hross pondered about is that Elon Musk has a very fitting anagram for his name. When you toss the letters around like in Scrabble. Lone Scum. Now, that'll be a good title for a film. Lone Scum and Planet of the Apes. You, humanity, are the apes of Pharaoh's nobility. A few months ago, like May 2022, homie Hross, the homeless, or homiless, walked around in Strasbourg, France, when a Frenchie approached, saying he was from the DRM, for Direction des Renseignements Militaires, or French MI, Military Intelligence. He introduced himself as Jean-Paul and invited me for a bite. And yes, I'm still alive, though it did cross my mind at the moment. And what if? We can all see the concept of 3 and 4 in their logo here, standing for square and compass, with a lot of squares for the concept of 4 in the 3 pharaonic colors, blue, white and red. Everything in several circles for the compass, because with the compass one can draw a perfect circle for the concept of 3 and also 3 letters, And behind we can see the French nuclear aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle. He told me that all French terrorist investigations by MI French all stranded dead-end street in Switzerland. So for further intel about it, you can see this in my video here on my other channel, Homeland Security, entitled Abu Musab al-Swissi of Octagon's Islamofascism branch, well, etc. Here he is. This is the guy who organized the terrorist attacks in Paris, and he's Swiss. Of course, he's not a Muslim, he's Octagon. They never found him, never heard of him ever again. Typical Octagon. So Jean-Paul revealed to me that MI French are in Alsace, in the towns of Haguenau and Mutzig. Information about their whereabouts hardly anyone would know, I guess. I never saw Jean-Paul again and never heard of him either. A real spook. So, well, let's feed MI French some more valuable intel on the powerful Swiss Haldeman bloodline, which I got through your comments. Damn, can't even take any more credits on my own videos. All honors go to you guys and girls on this one. So this video here is in fact the follow-up and part 2 of this video here, entitled Lone Scum and Planet of the Apes, on the same channel. So this here is part 1, and the one you're looking at now is part 2. I love this teamwork with you guys and girls, and this is what I found in your comments on the Lone Scum film. And I will only address the person in question by his anagram Lone Scum from now on, and for his female progenitor codenamed Cruella de Vil. So my video won't get lifted out of the FuckTube shop, as in FuckTube shoplifters. Comment number 1. Sean, your film reminds me of the most famous member of the Haldeman bloodline, Bob Haldeman, key player in Nixon's 1972 Watergate scandal. Swissy did it. Now look, Watergate, here you can see Swissy. Key player H.R. Haldeman, also called Bob Haldeman, Swiss Bob.